Okay, you probably have your pewter casted piece. You've cleaned out some of the MDF a little bit with the wire brush or with a needle tool of some sort. And it's kind of rough around the edges like this. This one's actually pretty smooth. Maybe you put it in water for a while and let it soak. There are some finishing techniques where you can make it smoother. So if you look at this one, you can see starting to sand away and make it really smooth. And some of these walls that are going to be visible when the resin will be inside these spaces are starting to get smooth. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, and these are types of sandpaper, and they vary by grit, and grit is a number. So the lower the number, the larger the grit is, and the more material will take off faster. So this is 150. We've got a 220 over here, which is a little bit less. And then we have actually something called 3000. It's very fine. It almost just feels like paper. But if you rub, if you use this to polish you will start to get a very a mirror finish on your piece. It does take a little bit of elbow grease and work, but it makes the piece in the end look pretty nice. 150 grit. This is going to really scratch it up. But what you want to do is you want to get down to where the this part is here, and you want to scratch the whole thing up so that you can start polishing it. So just holding it, going in small circles until you start seeing it scratch up the middle part, okay? So that would take maybe 10 minutes. And then you'd move to a smaller grit. This is a 220 or maybe 320. Circular motion, trying to kind of hold the whole thing together. And you can start to see that it's coming through. And then actually on the 3000 grit, we use water to help polish it. So I'm gonna just go in small circle. You can actually see this gray, a watery substance. That's actually pewter. So do not touch your eyes while you do this. Make sure you wash your hands after. And then you'll start to see how it's starting to really shine up. Now I would have to work with the lower grit, like the 150, for a lot longer before I got down to this be completely flat, and then I could start to polish the whole thing. But the same thing with the upper edge. If you just sit and talk for a while, round and round and round you go, eventually you'll start to see, you dip it in some water, you'll start to see that really polished, fine, smooth surface all the way around. Okay, I found that using water on all the grits does help a little bit. This is about 20 minutes worth of work, just going from this until it starts to shine. I've got a little piece there that I would have had to go a little bit longer to get to. But in this case, the walls look really shiny. You do it for another few minutes on the 3000. This does eventually get useless, so you might want to change it out after it's been used a couple of times. It's very hard to get inside where the resin's going to go, but if you're using opaque resin, you're not going to see that. But it does add a different kind of grain or texture inside. We're not going to be able to sand or to buff that. So there you go.